All right, well, welcome everybody to Freshman Advising Jumpstart. My name is Sarah Seitz, and I'm a Senior Academic Advisor in the Academic Advising and Exploration Center. So today we want to make sure that we give you some information that you will need to know kind of within your first week, first month of your education here at Whitewater. So today's purpose is really to make you aware and to make you understand that academic advising is really just as important as going to class and studying for exams and doing that daily homework. Okay? So we want to give you that information that you're going to need to kind of get you that head start, that jump start for your year here at Whitewater. It's really important that you know kind of why you're taking classes, how they fit into your degree, really making sure that you have the ultimate responsibility for your degree and for your education here at Whitewater. So like I said, I'm one of the advisors in the Academic Advising and Exploration Center. There are actually 15 of us. We also employ about 6 graduate students and 12 student assistants. We opened in 2003, and we were actually an initiative from students. So students wanted better advising, they wanted more of that one-on-one connection with an advisor, so that's kind of why we opened. One of our main goals for you as an office and for you, from us as advisors is we want you to explore new interests, we want you to get involved here on campus. Try new things. Obviously all that is going to make you grow, it's going to make you become a better person and really kind of a better graduate in terms of experiences and just kind of learning along the way. So our office is located in Roseman, 2054, which is on the second floor of Roseman. Roseman is right across from that beautiful fountain in the middle of campus. We are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And one of the great things about our office is that we always have a walk-in advisor available. So if you have any quick, time-sensitive questions or something a little bit more urgent that you want to get solved or a problem, we really encourage you to just come on into the office during those office hours and someone can help you, okay? In fact, you can see here, this is just a glimpse of our walk-in schedule. So you can see that we have at least one person and really 2 people on most often for walk-ins really every hour of the day. So in terms of scheduling, I think the majority of you are already on our calendars and already have an appointment set. At least one appointment set for the fall semester. If you don't know when that appointment is or you think you need to schedule that yet, you'll want to make sure that you call our front desk. So that number is 262-472-4646. And then our student assistants will answer that line and get you all ready for schedule for an appointment. You can also stop by our office and obviously schedule in person. But it's really important to note that our advisors are really busy people and our schedules do fill up rather quickly. So it's important to make sure you get on our calendars and to not miss appointments. So one of the main purposes of appointments and kind of why you have to meet with your advisor is we really want to make sure that you have a positive and really successful transition into college, whether it be your first year here at Whitewater or maybe you're transferring in. We just want to make sure that you have a really positive adjustment and that you're finding everything that you need. So that's one of the main reasons that we kind of connect you with an individual advisor. Obviously we want to get to know you a little bit. We want to take note of your passions and your interests and what kind of person you are and kind of how those characteristics and skills are going to be related to a future career and kind of your major and what path you might want to take. And then obviously we're going to teach you a few things. We want to make sure that you know how to read your academic advising report. We call the AAR because that's going to really tell you whether or not you can graduate. We want to make sure you know how to utilize WINS, which is our online registration system. We want to make sure you know all the general education requirements, as well as all of your degree requirements and your major requirements. You know, the list goes on, really. And then we'll also be talking about kind of future advising locations and kind of what maybe your sophomore, junior, and senior years are going to look like in terms of advising. So in terms of your role as a student, you know, students have responsibilities, obviously, in terms of being an advisee. Advisors have responsibilities as well. We want to make sure that you understand that it's really a two-way street when you're working with your advisor, and that you have certain things and expectations that we want you to fulfill, as well as ourselves as advisors. So we want to make sure that you are checking your UW-Whitewater email really on a daily basis. Getting in the habit of checking that at least once and even twice a day. We really recommend that you sync it to your phone. So there is a handout that you can get from your advisor that includes instructions on how to sync it to your phone. So you really will have no excuse on not reading your email. So we recommend that you do that. We very much expect you to attend appointments on time. Like I said before, our schedules are very, very full, and we often have appointments that are back to back to back to back to back. So if you're late or you miss something, that can cause our schedule to really get backed up, and then be backed up for additional students as well. We want you to come prepared to every meeting, bring in your advising report, any questions that you have. And like I said earlier too, that ultimately remember that you are responsible for your educational plan and kind of making sure all of those requirements are fulfilled. So like I said, advising is really that kind of two-way street. You as a student, and then my role or your advisor's role is really kind of one of the main things that we're going to be focusing on is getting to know you, like I said, and helping you work towards achieving those short-term goals, those long-term goals, in terms of major, career, internships, getting involved, that kind of thing. Obviously, we're here to help you understand your advising report, your degree, making sure that you complete all the requirements in a timely manner, that you're not missing anything, that will keep you here longer, things like that. As advisors, we are always open to listening and respecting your values and your choices, and then obviously we're here to really answer any questions and really just to be a support system and to really direct you to other resources and other services on campus. So in terms of required appointments, so here today we're at Jumpstart, and your first individual appointment is going to be called pre-advise. So that will occur in the next coming week, so sometime in September or October, and this is going to be your first individual appointment with your advisor, and it's only going to last about 15 minutes. So most of you have your pre-advise appointment already scheduled, so you'd want to log into your email. Most advisors have sent you kind of an invitation for that appointment that includes the date and the time, so you'll want to double check that. Again, if you forgot when your appointment is, check your email. Otherwise, you can also call the front desk, and our student assistants can help figure out when that appointment is as well. Our second required appointment is going to be advise. So the advise appointment will be after pre-advise. It will be sometime in November or October or November, and it's going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be 30 minutes because we're going to really plan out your spring courses and kind of make sure you're all set for registering and on track for kind of your second semester here at Whitewater. Just a reminder that both of these appointments, pre-advise and advise, along with Jumpstart today, those are all 3 required meetings with your advisor. In fact, if you don't meet with your advisor, you will not get to register on time, most likely. Kind of depends on your advisor's schedule. So it's really important, like I said earlier, to make sure you attend your appointments on time and that you really plan ahead and you really make advising a priority. We also have, advisors also put a hold on your account, so you're not able to register for classes until you have successfully completed these appointments, and then your advisor will remove your hold. So in terms of our no-show policy, if you cannot attend your appointment, you must notify your advisor directly. So you don't want to just call the front desk, but you want to somehow make direct contact with your advisor. So that's really via phone or email, sometime before your appointment. Okay, so we really want to stress the direct connection with your advisor, and it has to be before your scheduled time. If we don't hear from you, if there's no kind of courtesy call or contact, your new appointment will likely be after all of the students that are already on our calendars, okay? Because they have been on there for a while and they're kind of priority. So this could delay your registration. Again, it just kind of depends on your advisor's availability and what we have left in our calendars. So please make sure that you do make note of this no-show policy. All right, so what to bring to your appointments. You want to make sure that, like I said, you come prepared and you come ready. You always want to bring your Windows to Whitewater booklet. So this is something that you got at Planet Purple this summer. So you want to make sure that you bring this and kind of use it as your advising folder. And then you also want to bring a copy of your advising report, okay? And that looks like this document here on the left. And this is something that you'll want to print out kind of at the beginning of every meeting. So remember that this is a live document and you want to print a new one out every semester. And then of course, bringing your questions with you as well. All right, so WINS. When you log into WINS, WINS is our kind of online registration system. This is kind of how you find your advising report. So when you log in, you're going to go to your student center. And then right here, there's a drop-down menu. You're going to click on that, and the AAR, your advisement report, is your first option there. You're going to click on that, and then the little arrows. And then the next screen will come up, and you'll see a green print report or view as a PDF button, I think it's called. And you will click on that green button, and then the form will come up as a PDF, and then you're able to print like I have here. Okay, so it's also important to note that you do turn off any pop-up blockers. If you're having problems printing, perhaps try a different browser or try a different building or a different computer lab on campus. Sometimes there is some issues with printing. And then also on your Student Center, you can see here on the upper right-hand corner, there will be your holds box. So you will eventually see an academic advising hold in that corner, and that just indicates that you do need to see your advisor for those required appointments. All right, we have a lot of resources available here at UW-Whitewater, specifically some great websites and some great things online. So I want to show you where our undergraduate catalog is. So the undergraduate course catalog is really on the home page here. If you scroll all the way down, you will find a course catalog option, and then you want to click on the current dates for the current catalog. So the catalog is really kind of like your handbook. It lists all of the different policies and rules and regulations and procedures. It has all of the academic programs, major requirements, minor requirements, and it has all the course descriptions. So this is a great thing if you're kind of going back and forth between a couple majors, or you want to kind of read about different courses, what we have to offer here. You can read all of those as well as everything else kind of on this course catalog. So this should be something that you definitely kind of explore a little bit. All right, important dates. So at the beginning of every semester, important dates and deadlines come out, and you want to kind of be aware of these. So this fall semester, our last day to add is on September 13th. So you always get roughly about 1 week to decide whether you want to add any new class or change times or teachers to your current schedule. So September 13th is the last day to add. The last day to drop, the first drop deadline without a W is September 19th. And then the last day to drop that would be with a W is October 17th. So a W stands for withdraw. So that first deadline, the without a W, that just indicates that the course will not be on your academic transcript at all. There will be no record that you were ever in the course if you drop it before the 19th. Okay? If you drop the course anytime after the 19th until October 17th, then that means that on your transcript, instead of a grade, it will indicate a W, which means you withdrew from the course. It does not affect your GPA, it doesn't hurt you in any way, but we do want to caution you from kind of getting a W every single semester, because that doesn't really look very good on your record. But just so you know, the final day to drop a course is October 17th. After that date, then you are kind of stuck, or you're in all of your classes for good until the end of the semester. The second 8-week classes begin on October 30th. So if any of you are in kind of some of those fun PE general classes, those typically are only 8 weeks long, and the second 8-week session then begins on October 30th. Spring registration for spring 2018 semester, so next semester is going to be after Thanksgiving for freshmen. So during that week after Thanksgiving, all students will be assigned a date and a time, an enrollment appointment, and then that's when you will register for your classes. As long as you've made sure that you've had those advising appointments with your advisor, of course. All right, so we're going to switch gears here a little bit, and we're going to show some videos. These videos are from current students, and they just kind of want to give you some tips for success and just make sure, again, that you start off the semester strong.
My name is Savannah Mays. I am from Elmhurst, Illinois, and I'm a senior at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. My major is early childhood education and special education with a minor in ESL.
Hello, I'm Cole Pino. I'm a junior here, majoring in English literature, minoring in history, and I'm from Clinton, Wisconsin.
I highly recommend that you check your email at least once a day, if not more than once. If most of you have smartphones, I definitely recommend hooking it up to your email. That way you can just read them as they come to your phone. Just make sure that you realize that grades do matter and that even your freshman year will count towards your cumulative GPA. So don't let college get the best of you. Making friends and socializing is obviously important, but make sure that you're spending like 15 to 20 hours a week on homework and studying for your classes. Obviously everyone organizes in a different way, but as an education major myself, organization is so important. I'm definitely the type of person that loves making lists. So for my planner, I would put this class that I had and the time that it was for, and then I would put homework underneath it, and then I would also put my work schedule in here and any tournaments that I had for lacrosse. I also enjoy color coding. Just make sure that one of my biggest tips would be writing down your due dates and exams once you get your syllabus so that you can stay organized that way.
Some great ways to stay on top of your coursework at UW-Whitewater is being able to utilize our tutoring center. You may not always have questions on some of your homework, but I highly encourage you to go if you do develop any questions. We also have a great program here called supplemental instruction. Supplemental instruction is used if you really not understanding the course material, what happens is a student will hold an outside study session for you to be able to go to, and I utilize this for both my biology classes as well as my math classes, because I sometimes didn't really understand the material as it was being presented to me. But if you go to these SI sessions, it's definitely a lot more one-on-one, and I think it's a great way to be able to develop and master that material yourself. If you're good at a discipline, I also encourage you to become an SI. I'm an SI as well for history courses as well as writing courses here on our campus. And I think that some students don't really realize that even though you're an SI, you can still struggle. Like I mentioned, I do struggle with math and science, but I can definitely help fellow Warhawks succeed and be successful in courses such as, history or that writing piece. Another great place to go for help is actually to your professors. Here at Whitewater, most of our professors do have open office hours. I would definitely suggest going there, sitting down with them. If you need to talk about course material, that's a great place to do it. They can work with you individually, maybe a lot more in-depth than they could in the classroom. Even though our class sizes are small, it's just definitely great to be able to work more one-on-one with your professors. In addition, you not only have to talk about course material, but you can actually develop personal connections with your professors here, and that's something I really like. I used many different professors as letters of recommendation so I can obtain on-campus positions. So I highly encourage you to do the same. If you have any questions, never be afraid to ask.
All right, so one of the things that those students really talked about is obviously kind of creating that schedule, using a planner, using those services. So obviously we encourage you to do that. Something else that we want you to look at is kind of creating a study schedule. So something like this that you're creating, so kind of every week you're following this regimented kind of weekly schedule. We, as advisors, the most successful students we see, the ones that really do well in school and get higher GPAs, are ones that follow kind of a schedule like this, that they plan out when they work, when they study, when they go to the library, when they work out, when they have time for involvement, that kind of thing. So that's something that, it might take you a couple weeks to kind of get into the groove and kind of figure out this schedule, but this is something that we want you to kind of create in your first month or so on campus. All right, and here's another video about involvement opportunities.
I think to truly live the college experience, you definitely have to get out of your residential halls. I mean, you can only binge watch Netflix so often before you actually get bored. Here at Whitewater, some great ways to get involved are either to join organizations on our campus, maybe obtain an on-campus position, or even join an intramural team. In my experience, the second week of school is definitely the most beneficial, as we do host an organizational fair. All 230 of our organizations set up tables, and you can walk around and kind of get to know different peers here at UW-Whitewater and see what actual organizations we have to offer you. My freshman year here, I actually joined the Impact, which is our LGBT organization here on campus. I fell in love with it so much that this is my second semester as a freshman. I actually was on the executive board as the social coordinator, so it was my job to be able to get other students to come to our organizational meetings. So I do implore you to kind of find a spot here in our college campus, join different organizations. You don't have to have it be related to your major, but we also do have many organizations that are here to kind of help develop professional skills in any major that you may choose. In addition, I highly encourage you to think of on-campus jobs. I do hold a few positions myself. I'm a student assistant in the admissions office. I'm also a supplemental instructor, and I'm a member of Hawk Squad, so some of you might remember seeing me. Before you do join all of those organizations, though, I do suggest that you take a couple weeks here to kind of establish roots in Whitewater. You don't want to be joining different organizations and then kind of fall behind on your classwork, right? Because academics are one of the most important parts of that college experience. Grades matter, never forget that, but also try to have the best college experience as well.
All right, so like Cole said, it's really important to get involved. These are just a few kind of ways to do that. In fact, it's really recommended that you do at least one of these things during your 4 or 5 years here at UW-Whitewater. And really, even if you could do multiple, that's even better. So looking at studying abroad, doing some service learning, we have some classes here that kind of link you with some service learning opportunities. Getting an on-campus position or more of a leadership role on campus, conducting some undergraduate research. This is a great place to do that. Whitewater is very well known for that, and something great that you can do on a smaller scale, with faculty and with some other students. Looking at internships, and then of course joining clubs and student organizations, intramurals, things like that. So all of these things are going to kind of help you integrate what you're learning in the classroom and apply it to kind of outside situations, real life experiences. They're going to keep you engaged and motivated, and of course they're going to be great experiences for you to add to your resume and for you to talk about later on in interviews and things like that. So if you want to take a moment and jot down these dates, these are some of the upcoming fairs that we have here in the fall semester. So we always have a Global Experiences Fair, which really focuses on studying abroad. If you're not, really into spending a whole semester abroad, just keep in mind that we do have more short-term opportunities as well. So if you want to do anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks abroad, or maybe just a summer, or if you want to student teach abroad, we have a variety of different experiences. So even if you're thinking a little bit or want to check it out, make sure you attend that fair. The involvement fair in the middle is what Cole was talking about in the video. So that's coming up here. Again, a way to kind of see what all of the student orgs are, and kind of just to start networking and meeting people from those orgs. And then the Hot Career Fair is coming up in October, and that'll be in the field house. Even if you are a freshman or a new student here on campus, it's still beneficial to go to that and to kind of see what companies are hiring, talking with kind of representatives from those companies, seeing what they're looking for, what experiences they want, and maybe even looking at summer internships too. So again, you want to make sure you take a photo of that or jot those dates down. All right, so FERPA is the next slide here. FERPA stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. So this is basically a law that states, that now that you're 18, now that you're officially an adult, your educational records are private. Okay, so these are kind of your rights, as a student. And that also means that, if any parents or anybody calls, your advisor or professors about your grades or your situation here at Whitewater, we aren't able to disclose any of that information because of this law. So just kind of keep that in mind. We always encourage you to have more open communication with your families. There is an authorization form that you can fill out if you want to release those records. So keep that in mind. You can always ask your advisor about that at an individual appointment. All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about the general education requirements and your advising report. So the general education requirements that you are required to take here, everyone has to take these. Kind of the purpose of them is obviously to make you a little bit more of a well-rounded individual, kind of building those essential skills that you're going to need for a future job and really any employer, and to kind of give you those variety of experiences. So if you could get out your advising report or pull it up on your computer, and again, kind of have a pen handy and take notes as you follow along, do some circling, some highlighting as we go through this, okay? So as stated before, this is kind of your roadmap to graduation, essentially, okay? So it's really important to know how to read this and understand it, because if you don't, then you could take a wrong class, or you could miss something, and you could be here longer than you want to be. So the key to kind of reading this is really looking for bold items, okay? So anything that's listed in bold print means that you haven't satisfied that requirement, okay? So given that you are all fairly new students here, a lot of the requirements here listed on your report are going to be bold. Also remember, this is a live document, so as soon as you make changes to your schedule or grades post, this is going to update, okay? So that's why you want to make sure that you print out a new copy at the beginning of every semester, and then take that new copy to your advising appointment. Okay? So on the first page of your advising report, it always lists your current degree up on top here, and then it gives you the total number of credits needed to graduate. So the magic number here is 120. That's what you need to get to kind of that point for graduation. It also lists your GPA on the first page. The combined GPA is always going to take your current whitewater credits and your transfer credits. So that's what you'll want to kind of look for. All right, so then we're going to follow along here. So next, if you want to make sure you're at Roman numeral number 2, these courses are called our developmental skills classes. So they are English and math, and we have placed you into English and math courses based on some of your tests that you've taken. So your English placement is based on your ACT or your SAT score, while your math placement is based on your math placement test score, okay? So if you have a waiver for any of these courses that are listed, you don't need to take that class. So waivers are good things. They waive you out of those kind of lower level classes. If you have a class here that's listed with an IP, that just means in progress. So that means you're currently enrolled in that course. If you see a TE, that means test. So that means you took one of those tests, the ACT or the MPT, to waive out of that class. All right, following along, the next section here is communication and calculation skills. So it's really important to obviously utilize these skills or to learn these skills in the future, because you'll probably be needing to know a lot of speaking skills, writing skills, editing different reports and kind of analyzing data, things like that, that you will probably need to know in your future career. So letter A is communication skills. There's English 100 or 101. So you could have placed into one of those based on your ACT or SAT score. Again, you'll see here, this student is currently in progress in English 100. The next one is English 102 or 105. English 105 is our honors class, so you have to be kind of invited into the honors program to take the 105. So at minimum, you will take at least two English courses, most likely. Number 3 here is COM 110. This is our intro to communication, our speech class. Usually students take this their sophomore year. And then letter B, calculation skills. Everyone has to take either Math 139, 140, or 141. So it kind of depends on your major to choose kind of which one you would take. Most students, I would say, do not do the 140. So you're kind of picking between the 139 or the 141. Again, this kind of depends on your major, so you can work individually with your advisor. Some students may have a waiver even for this level of math, which is indicated here on this example. All right, the next section, if you can find under university requirements, we have quantitative and technical reasoning. So these are our science requirements. So everyone is required to take one GL course, which stands for a general lab, and then one GM course, which is more of a non-lab, so like a math or a computer science class. In order to take these classes, you have to be at least concurrently enrolled in kind of the upper math, the 139 or the 141. So some examples of lab sciences are biology, chemistry, geography, geology, physics, astronomy. So those are just a few examples. All right, letter B, if you can look for cultural heritages, and then letter C is communities. These kind of 4 classes you can see here are all labeled as Gen Ed, okay? So we call these the core classes, the ones that are labeled as Gen Ed, and all students are required to take all 4 of them, okay? So you're likely enrolled in at least one of them, probably this semester. So the first one here is Gen Ed 110, World of the Arts, which is kind of an overview of different art classes, art, music, dance, theater, all different kinds of art. Number 2 here is Gen Ed 390. This is called World of Ideas. You have to have 60 credits completed in order to take this class, so this is more of a junior level, senior level class. Under communities here we have Gen Ed 130. This is called Individual and Society. This is going to be a very broad-based class about psychology, sociology, anthropology, things like that. And then the last one here, you have the option to choose between Gen Ed 140, which is global perspectives, or Gen Ed 120, historical perspectives. So always remember that when you're reading your advising report, or means that you pick one, okay? So you have 4 total, with obviously picking one on the bottom here. All right, letter D, if you can continue to follow along, physical health and well-being. Underneath this requirement is your personal health and fitness class. This is just a 1-credit course that is required of everybody, and it's more of kind of like a healthy lifestyle course. It's not necessarily like a high school gym class, so just kind of make note of that. And then letter E, you'll see is electives. And every student is required to take 8 to 12 credits of electives. And electives are designated by different codes. So there's all of these different codes, GA, GE, GH, etc. Those all have different meanings. For example, GA is general arts, GH is general humanities, etc. So you can pick whatever classes you want to take to fulfill this elective category. So that's kind of the nice thing about our Gen Ed program and about Whitewater, is we do give you kind of the ability to pick and choose a few classes based on your interests, and kind of, you know, that's kind of the beauty of college, is that you get to kind of pick some things for fun as well. So like I said, you need a minimum of 8 credits here for electives. A lot of you are probably in the new student seminar, which is under Intra-University 104 on the bottom here. And that also counts as an elective. And then the last required Gen Ed course is U.S. Racial and Ethnic Diversity. So diversity courses are labeled as DV in the WIN system. And every student has to take just one of these classes. Obviously, in today's society, we need to make sure that we know how to work together in teams, and kind of just having that knowledge and engagement of, you know, being increasingly diverse and working with people who are a little bit different than ourselves. So that's kind of why this requirement is needed. So I just went through all of the general education requirements. Remember, all of those are needed by everybody. And then the remainder of your report is going to be specific to your college and to your major. And we're going to discuss that a little bit more at your individual appointment, okay? And then if you go to the last page, you can see your course history, and that just kind gives you a running list of all the classes that you've taken, all of your test credits, all of your transfer credits, any AP scores, IB scores, everything is kind of listed here in a big running list. So that's something that you'll want to make note of as well. All right, so as we wrap this presentation up, just a couple things, reminders for you to be aware of. So a few things that you need to do before your pre-advised appointment. First, you need to figure out when it is and make sure you know the date and time of your appointment and make sure it's in your calendar and that you have maybe a reminder on your phone. So again, make sure you check your email or stop by our office. And then number 2, you need to submit your advising syllabus via the D2L Dropbox. So D2L is something that you will use in the majority of your classes. And on the main Whitewater homepage here, there's a link on the upper right-hand corner. You're just going to click on that and log in with your net ID and your password. And then you can go ahead and fill out this syllabus and submit it to the Dropbox. D2L is something that you should also kind of check on a daily basis, just for different class announcements and assignments and tests coming up, things like that. In fact, you can even set up notifications that will allow you to get text messages or email reminders about certain things that are coming up or that are due. And then a few other reminders of things that you will want to make sure that you complete. Career Locker is something that you were sent information on this summer, and we talked about it a lot at Planet Purple. So that is kind of an online, internet-based career development workshop. So something to do that, to do quick, sometime soon. If you don't have time to do it on your own, we do have workshops that we offer in the Advising Center, and someone can help facilitate them for you. TechQuest is a required online technology orientation, and that can be done on your own time, again, via D2L. And then Campus Clarity, think about it, this is a required training course that just really focuses on promoting kind of more of a healthy, safe environment on our campus. And it kind of reviews those policies related to student conduct, sexual assault, sexual harassment, things like that. All right, and to end our presentation, we want to do kind of something fun. So we're going to do one session here of a Warhawk family feud, all right? So last spring, we surveyed 1,334 Warhawks that were new freshmen, and we asked them this question: what is the most meaningful piece of advice you would give to a new Warhawk, all right? And so we want to know, what do you think were the 5 words that were used the most? So take a minute, maybe think about what 5 words were used in that question. All right, so let's see. Number 5, survey says the word question was used. Ooh, number 4 was advisor. Number 3 was time. Number 2 was make, and the most common word that was used answering that question was class. So, just to kind of review a little bit, these were again the top 5 answers. So obviously, questions, make sure you are asking questions to your advisors, to your professors, to your RAs, to your peer mentors. No question is a dumb question. It's okay, you're all new at this college, you're all new here as a Warhawk, so it's okay to ask questions. Advisor. Obviously, advisors are a great resource. We're here to help you, we're here to support you, so make sure that you are reaching out to them and utilizing them. Let's see, time. Managing your time wisely. Kind of obviously time management is pretty key in college. Keep pushing when times get hard, keep pushing. So a few examples there with time. Make. So make had a few different unique approaches. So making plans to meet up with a study buddy. Make sure you're getting involved. Make sure you utilize your resources here on campus. Make a study plan and stick to it. And then class. So obviously that's a pretty easy one that, you know, your fellow Warhawks are pretty much telling you that, you know, make classes a priority, make those exams and those studying, make that kind of your number one thing. So go to your classes, take them seriously, study for tests, show up to class on time, and you will succeed. So that's just kind of a recap of the different advice and things that our survey told us from last spring. All right, so thank you everyone for listening to this Jumpstart presentation. We hope you have a good semester.